Hi everyone, I am Zan and you are watching Code with Zan. So recently I had been working on a new project, ZainzHash, and what is it all about? I'll be talking about that shortly. But before that, we need to have a look what is hashing. Hashing in computer science is a way of encrypting data such that it cannot be like we cannot bring that value back to its original form. I may demonstrate it to you with a small example. So here we are. For example, someone entered data, uh, hello, okay, and after hashing, we'll assume that it will change to something like 1F623, something like that, okay. Another example can be like a bigger text, okay, which returns a different length of data. But a standard hash has a fixed amount of return value. That means, so if you check the correct definition from Wikipedia, you might understand it better. So if we simply type hashing, so we might see, yeah, here we have a hash function. A hash function is any function that can be used to map data of arbitrary size to fixed size values. And this is the main important part of a hash. And I've been working on the same project in which you create you enter data, but in the first versions, you weren't returned with fixed size values. They were they were variable sized values, but it was a one-way process. And let's get started how these hashes work. So first of all, I'll create a simple file index.html, and I will create another file. No, well, it's fine. I'll now write simply hash test, and I'll also write script source equals to ZainzHash. Okay. So now our script is connected. I'll hit go live so that I'll be able to see this on the web locally. So yeah, here we are. So I'm gonna inspect it. First of all, I'm gonna go to the inspection window and I'll first of all refresh it. So if I hit Z, that means yeah, the functions are activated. So now we'll be taking a look on how ZainzHash works. So the first version of ZainzHash was the ZainzHash version 1, and you could say something like hello, and it was converted and encrypted to something like mg. It worked in a very simple way. You can check the repository on GitHub where everything is explained how each and every hash works. But the value, or I can say the return value length varied. So now if I write please stop now, look, the length of the values is now varying, but it has some drawbacks, okay. And the main uh, I can say goal of a hash function that is that no more than two values should have the same value. And here I failed to do so. If I write AC, no, AD, the hash of AD is equal to 80. And another thing, Zan's hash of BC. You'll see that the hash is the same. That's why I won't recommend you, if you want to use these in your projects, do not use this hash, because this is going to create some critical problems while using the hash, because two hashes have the same value 80. Then was the second hash, ZainzHash version 2. So the ZainzHash version 2 was called simply using the function ZainzHash version 2, and if I write hello, I'll get something like mjmq. If I write another one which is bigger than that, let's say please stop. So here you can see it's much, yeah, here also the value, the size of the return value is does vary according to the length of the input. Uh, but this was much safer than the ZainzHash version 1 because it didn't have any drawbacks. Like as far as I tested, no more than two hashes, no more than two values had the same hash. Then was the ZainzHash version 3. The version 3 was also simple. So if I write hello, but before that, let's try it for the ZainzHash version 2 of the same thing, AD and BC. So for the hash of AD, we get 7 RMG, and for BC, we should probably see something different. And yes, it is different. It's 7S88. So it is much likely not to have same hashes. And after that was the ZainzHash version 3. So ZainzHash version 3 was also based on the same principle, but it was much safer and secure than the other two versions before this one. So write hello, we'll get something like IO. So it's short one. Then we have ZainzHash version 3. For example, I'll say please stop, and I get something else. Now if we check if the hashes do have the same values, well, you'll probably see that it doesn't have the same values. So if I write AD and ZainzHash version 3 of BC, I'll get F8. So this was also safer than the other two. So now if we take a look at the ZainzHash version 4, you can probably see that it has got a much higher encryption, as you can just simply see by the amount of letters we have here. So ZainzHash version 4 of hello gives you something like 1FHJ21. And another special thing about hash is that you can never go back. It's just a one-way process. And you can actually check everything on the GitHub repository which I have made for this project. Now let's take a look at the ZainzHash version 5. But before that, you can also see that here also the hashes are not matching for and another thing, why am I using AD and BC? It's because of the ASCII values which are assigned to them, and that's why AD and BC, because it acts as a ratio and proportion. Like in mathematics, we if we write A is to B proportion to C is to D, we then multiply A to D and B to C, and if they give the same values, they are in proportion. Same is the case here. In version 1, the AD and BC hashes were same because it was working on that principle, but then I had changed them, and now you get different values. Then this was the ZainzHash version 5. Now it was a kind of special one, and it was like it was a primary hash for all because the version 1 was built from scratch, version 2 was built from scratch, but version 3 was built from the other two, like they were mixed up in the process. Version 4 was built from version 3, which indirectly meant by that it used to version 2 and 1, but this was made from scratch, version 5, and always returns you a 32-bit answer, or I can say 32 digit answer, I can say that. So, and it's much safer. You might say that the digits are same, but at the end you'll always see that the digits are different and the hashes are different. So that was about the ZainzHash version 5. Now, in the next video, we are going to discuss how we can use them in our day-to-day projects. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel.